Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So in this one, I want to talk about the scene that we got for episode 21 between Daryl and Carol. Next week's episode is going to be very focused on, I think it's going to be more focused on Carol than Daryl, but it is going to be a mix of the two. I've heard some things about this episode, so I'll give my thoughts on that. I'll also break down this scene and give some predictions for next week's episode. So before we go any further, obviously I do have to warn you for spoilers for tonight's episode of The Walking Dead. And if you are new here, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. Now, this episode is titled Diverged, and the synopsis reads, at the lowest point in their friendship, Daryl and Carol come to a fork in the road and head their separate ways. Carol returns to Alexandria while Daryl stays on the road, each going into their own type of survival mode. So what that synopsis says to me is that it is going to be just one of those episodes where it just focuses, it's like a day in the life of Carol, a day in the life of Daryl, right? My worry is that this is more filler than any of the other episodes that we've watched so far, because I've seen some early reviews for this episode and a lot of people don't like it. Like, a lot of people actually don't like this episode, and it's apparently very hard to watch. So I'm a little like, I'm not going to go into the episode expecting that this is going to be the worst episode ever, but it is in the back of my head, which sucks. But I will try to ignore it and I'll give it it's a fair chance. Like, I think this episode could be pretty decent. It just, nothing might happen, right? Because I'm trying to think of what the episode is actually going to give us. Like, there's some shots of Jerry and Carol holding each other, and it looks like what they're going through is pretty emotional. A lot of it has to do with Carol, I'm sure, maybe some stuff with Ezekiel, or maybe with Henry. You know, some stuff with the kingdom. There's just like they could be catching up on some stuff and it gets pretty emotional. And, they've had a hard last year or two. So that could be a great scene. Besides that, I think it's Carol just literally doing chores in Alexandria and wondering if she wants to stay here. Because that was basically what was set up at the end of episode 18. If you guys remember, Daryl got really upset with Carol, basically called her out on her attitude, the way she handles herself in situations like this where they really need to work together and rebuild and stuff. She just wants to give up and leave. So now I think she's wondering, can I stay here? Can I help rebuild? And I think at the end of the episode, she might decide, yeah, I can probably stay here. That would at least be some progress with the episode. Or maybe if that isn't the decision and at the end she still doesn't know, then for sure I can see, yeah, there is no point in this episode. So this episode being a Daryl and Carol episode, obviously the other half is you are focusing on Daryl. And Daryl is going to be staying out there a little while to keep looking for Connie. Obviously we know he's not going to find her because Lauren Ridloff wasn't a part of filming for these 6 new episodes. There could be like a revelation where he finds some proof that she walked through here or something like that. But I don't know, I'm not really expecting that. Like, the impression I'm getting with these 6 new episodes is that they really just came up with the idea to do these out of nowhere. The final season, what they have planned for the first and second episode, maybe some things will be changed because they probably did some things in episode 17, but I think a lot of it is going to stay there. Like, if you think of how episode 17 ended, it ended with Maggie and Herschel arriving to Alexandria. It's been destroyed and Negan is there. That's kind of how I was expecting season 11 to begin. Like, after episode 16 and they defeated the Whisperers, I was expecting season 11, episode 1 to begin with them just in Alexandria, showing them arrive. And yeah, I mean, they can practically start there. Like, these 6 episodes, they really are bonus episodes. We're getting these little interactions. We're learning some more information. It's cool character development, backstory stuff, but it's not furthering the story at all. And so I don't think there's going to be any kind of Connie is alive revelation. I just don't think it's coming in these episodes. It seems like they're all just personal backstory episodes. It's just like this character driven thing. And the best one is probably going to be Here's Negan. It seems like it's going to be as simple as that. It's just going to be Here's Negan because of, I mean, you can tell by all the footage, it looks so good. It's something a lot of us have been wanting for a really long time. And I'm actually really curious, like with episode 21 too, like, because that episode isn't something that I think a lot of us had been wanting, was there something else they could have done with the episode? Or was there just certain things in the final season that was just set in stone, like they couldn't really change? Because like, they could have really focused on anything. You could have did something else with Daryl or Maggie. Maybe do some more stuff with Maggie, right? Like, you could have done something, I think, in episode 21 where you set up some stuff for Here's Negan. And yeah, I'm hoping there is more of that, but I don't know. This episode apparently is supposed to be the worst one, and I'm not looking forward to that. Now, in this scene, we just have Daryl and Carol talking, and again, they're still pretty upset with each other because Daryl says something and Carol's like, "Don't worry, I'll be okay," and he's like, "No, I wasn't wondering that. I was wondering this, or I was saying this, or whatever." And they both literally go their separate ways. There's like a fork in the road. Daryl goes here, Carol goes over there, and then Dog goes with Carol, which pisses Daryl off. And yeah, the scene ends. That's going to be probably the opening minutes around there. It's going to start that way. We'll see Carol and Alexandria doing stuff, then Daryl out on the road. And we know there's a scene actually where he goes under a car. I think he's getting parts for his bike or something like that. And the car starts to roll a little bit, starts to move, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then the scene ends. But I am worried with this episode. Like in the trailer breakdown, there'll be a lot more to talk about with the episode because there'll be a 30-second trailer showing off a lot more footage, and we can actually get into some more stuff here. In this scene, there's not a lot to read into, but what I will say on everyone saying that this is the worst episode, like I really do wonder in terms of ratings how these 6 new episodes are doing. I imagine maybe it's like 1 million, maybe not even, because these are like bonus episodes and they are fun to watch. They definitely are. It seems like it was probably cheap to film these episodes, but I wonder if they could have just did like 3 or 4 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, or just 5. Because I would say with the 4 episodes that have come out so far, I mean, they weren't completely pointless. Nothing happened, but they were all right? The Maggie one was all right. The Daryl and Leo one was all right. And same with the Father Gabriel and Aaron one, and then the princess one with the Commonwealth. I know I kind of gave that one more of a negative review. It wasn't a negative or bad episode, but it wasn't as positive as my other ones, but it was still something. It was still something with Princess and the Commonwealth. I think that they could have taken episode 21 out, to be honest. Obviously, in a week from now or just in a few days, I'll actually watch the episode and I'll know for sure, but if it is as pointless and as bad as what the early reviewers are saying, then yeah, we'll have to wait and see. You know that Here's Negan's going to be really good because they set that up, or they put that at the end. Like, could you imagine if we already watched Here's Negan and now we're just watching these ones? Like, that would definitely, it would leave like a bad taste in your mouth going into the final season. Like, Here's Negan, it will end on a high note because you want something really good, and I do think that episode's going to be really good. This way, going into the final season, you're more excited than ever. I hope that episode 21 gives us a lot more for Carol, and I hope that we do learn some more stuff in relation to her relationship with Ezekiel, and maybe some stuff with Jerry. Maybe we'll get more stuff with Jerry. But yeah, I don't really know what to expect from this episode. To me, this episode just seems like it's Daryl out there looking for Connie and Carol doing some chores and helping fix Alexandria. Like, doesn't seem too exciting. Obviously, if there's more early reviews coming out in the next day or two, I'll do a video talking about that. This episode, I think a lot of people are going to be pretty disappointed in. I wonder if it's bad, or if it's bad because it's boring, right? Like, is it a bad episode where after you watched it, like The Walking Dead is going to get a bunch of hate? Because I can't imagine it's going to get as bad as Fear the Walking Dead, because that show, after season 5, the hate that show got was insane. Season 6, just, I don't even know how they did it. They just changed the narrative. The story is amazing, and it's so good right now that you forgot about season 5. I don't think this episode is going to garner that much hate. I don't, but I think people at the end will be like, okay, that was forgettable. Let's move on. I'm excited for 2 weeks from now, though. I really am. But post your thoughts down below. What do you think episode 21 is going to be about? What are your expectations for this episode? Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.